So this cooler, while I'm here, they said this cooler's been living right at 41. I've already been back here, but let me show you. There we go. And we had this filter on here, which is pretty dirty by itself too. And when I took it off, when I took that filter off, I literally heard the machine go, oh, and start actually moving some air, because I was sitting here on the backside and there was no air. And then I pulled that cover off and all of a sudden air. So I'm gonna clean the coil. They're not using it because it's always right at 41 and this place is on it, right? So they're not gonna hold food at not safe temps. That's satisfying, ain't it? So I'm gonna actually get the garden hose. I'm gonna pull this panel off and we're gonna see if I can get in and blow it from the inside out. How's that for an improvement? One hit. And real gentle hose on a mist. Just hosed it until it kept flushing until the water came out clean. And fired back up. Boy, and now, again, air. Don't love this. Alright, so now let's see if in time, where's the, she feels like she's putting out cold air. We'll see. 40-minute later follow-up. Still says 40. It feels cooler than that in here though. Let us break out the CPS TS100. You pull her open, you get some blue lights. You open the app, it looks like this. Okay, so now we take that and we hang it in here in a product placement, not in the direct airflow because I don't want to be fake about it. What the hell? Let's do that. Oh, hi. Let's put it just below the airflow. See what we get. Okay, so here's an interesting one because the compressor's really hot, but the condensing unit itself is off. We are plugged in, and I was only reading 49 degrees inside. So we may just have an out-of-whack thermostat. Thermostat's definitely on. Let's pull this cover off. I think there's more to see. Aha! So, temperature probe is in the coil where it belongs. Frozen solid. Sorry, my phone shut down. Temperature probe is in where it belongs. Coil's frozen solid, so unit stays off until it melts the ice. It's really not frozen solid right there. It's hard to tell. I'm gonna pull this panel off. I'm tempted to replace the thermostat. Okay, so the coil's clear of ice. I'm not going to change the thermostat or anything, that's just slush in there. I'm going to go ahead and close the door. I'm going to hook up, I'm going to see gauges. I'm going to, hook up gauges and see. I've got to put this cover back on in order to channel air through the coil. And then I'm going to get pressures. My hunch is that I'm going to need to replace the thermostat, but pin this back up or you're not going to get good pressures. You're going to fire up the condensing unit. Right? That should have just come on. And now let's get pressures while it's operating. So I can tell you, I thought the compressor was running and it wasn't, it just kicked on. Which there's no reason, the fan was running. So the compressor and fan are wired together. So if the compressor shut off, the compressor shut off on thermal. Now it may be shutting off on thermal because it doesn't have enough gas. That's what I'm trying to find out. But there's a piercing valve on the low side, nothing on the high side. So I don't get to see all the pressures. I only get to see half of the story. So what I just did definitely is not what you should ever do. She's just satisfied. Hang on, let's look at my. So I pulled a vacuum on the system, and then I weighed in the 8 ounces of 404. That's it, 8 ounces. And she was running. And she was running a 25-degree coil. Again, I can't see the head pressure, which is why I couldn't just top it off, because you can't monitor the head pressure, you're screwed. But the unit just satisfied, and I'm 58 degrees inside. So, new thermostat time. All right, so it's just a single brake. It's just a single brake unit. All right, so it's just I'm unplugged, so this is just a single brake unit. Shove down it. What? That is not. That is not. That's an air. Oh my God. I can tell you right now, this is an air temperature probe. So when the coil was getting to be whatever it's preset for, 34, it would shut down. You need a coil sensing. This has been here for a minute. Like that's, oh my gosh. Okay, so this is a true OEM coil sensing, and so I shoved it into the center of the coil. I make sure it doesn't go all the way through, because on this coil it will. I'm going to run it this way to get it clear of the fan, and then we'll have the extra coil there. But I'll get out of this kitchen where you can hear them ordering behind me in the kitchen, communicating, and then we'll talk more. So just making sure my probe is flush. My wires aren't going to hit my fan. Everything's clear. Let's get this button up. Okay, so here's the really funny thing that's going on. You saw me, I charged it up. Pressures seem to be okay. I changed the thermostat. Before I even plugged it in, the GFCI had tripped. So I reset the GFCI, and if I try to run the compressor in the mix, the GFCI trips. Like right now I'm running straight out of the thermostat and into the fan, and it runs. If I bring this in, it doesn't run. But I'm also not short to ground, so I'm wondering, because my GFCI was tripped before I plugged it in, if it didn't go weird on me. Right, this shows it's not my thermostat. The only thing I just changed is the thermostat. Try and run this to an extension cord to a different non-GFCI outlet and see what happens. Okay, well that could be part of the problem. Holy smokes. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely got some fun stuff going on in here. Holy smokes. Alright, I feel like this is important. I believe the start components may have been compromised. I think that's an understatement. It's weird is why it would have just happened. But, here nor there. Removed the start components, which look like that. When I set my unit to ohms, this is what I get, right? The equation works, but which is which, right? So how do we know when we hook up? I'm going to go ahead and put a half horse not hard start, 3-in-1 on there and see if it fires up. So what we know is that the greatest number is going to be between start and run. So one of these is start and one of these is run. And then we know the smallest number is going to be between common and run. So one of these is, right? So if this is common, then this would be start, this would be run, and that would be run and start. So that's correct. So this is common, start, run. highest value is between run and start. Lowest value is between run and common. That's how you know. So now you take these bad boys. Black is common, red is run, white is start. So black is common, red is run. You gotta watch these don't touch each other because they come very close sometimes. And white is start. And then we're gonna run our 2 wires here into our wago. All right, this is very sensical. When I opened that up and saw what I saw, it seemed very sensical that this may be the problem. But also, I don't know. Mira? Ooh, hey baby. She fired up. Yep. 100%. All right, so now we need to clean this wiring up. Yep, compressor's running. Oh, my batteries are dead. All right, stand by. But yeah, guys, I mean, look. That's what your start components look like. Oh, and all right, the compressor find, by the way, doesn't change anything. This doesn't say how many amps it's supposed to pull. It doesn't change anything because the condensing unit dropped out, right? Not just the compressor. So I found it with the compressor out, but I also found it with the whole condensing unit dropped out, which is controlled by the thermostat. So it needed a thermostat. But also, I think those critters, skeletons in the start components were maybe at times cutting off the flow of electricity. So what had happened was I had the front still opened up, so we were just flooding back, so the compressor was getting stressed out. Man, this compressor is still stupid hot. I think this compressor's on its way out. Faux show. I think I have this compressor in my house. I do. I'm pretty sure. But I think the compressor just got beat up with that, giving it intermittent power. And look, for those of you that want to be shady, this store's, I'm back behind, right? This store is clean, bro. These floors are clean. This place is clean. This is my mess. This is a cover behind where nobody, right? So they're cleaning and they're spraying and they're doing everything, and these critters found the only spot they could that was warm and protected, and they died in there. And then they stopped. Actually, they were kind of shorting it out. So again, I can only see the low side, and this doesn't surprise. This actually doesn't. Because it's a cap tube system. It's a cap tube system. So let's let it run. Let's let it run. The amp draw is good. Discharge is hot, but it's not killer. Liquid line is great. And let's see here. We don't have cool coming back yet. Well, it's barely cool, but I mean the box is 70 degrees in there. I'm gonna button this up, and then we'll check on the temperature probe. And I can tell you that is cold air. That is cold air. We're done. My probe's only down to 48, but I'm basically in Atlanta at 5 o'clock. And it's no good. Which means I should just stay here till 7, let the traffic clear, but we're good.